didn't hear Noah Eagle at the end of the Peacock broadcast last night. We played it for you last segment as he said, quote, the Detroit Pistons are all the way back. All the way back. I would not use the term all the way back until I thought they were absolutely a title contender. But that doesn't mean he's wrong or I'm right or anything like that. It's just in my definition of all the way back, I still have to see more, you know? I mean, we just cited the top 8 playoff teams in the West. The Pistons have played one of them. And so their record might be better than other teams in the East because they've simply not played some of the contenders out West. I mean, I want to buy in and love everything, but you can't dismiss the Tatum injury, Halliburton injury.
No, you can't. While the Pistons play their asses off and play hard, there's a lot of times in this league that their opponents, especially in the regular season, don't. Once you get to the playoffs, it's play hard team versus another play hard team.
Are other teams going through the motions a little bit? And I have stated it before. I think they're trying, don't get me wrong. But when the Pistons play Oklahoma City in late February, if the Pistons are still hovering around the best team in the East, I can guarantee that deep down it means more to the Pistons than it does to OKC. Mm-hmm. You know, the Pistons are trying to set the tone. They're trying to establish themselves. OKC's established. They know that their bread is buttered and the money is made in the postseason.
You know, Pistons got a little West Coast road trip. I think it's Portland, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Kings, and the Jazz in some order, right? I know the Lakers are December 30th. It got flexed to a prime time game, okay? So I'm going to play this clip if I remember to put in there for 97 won the ticket. And it's like, basically with these two old guys, I don't know who they are. 97 won the ticket is just too old, okay? So basically what they're saying is this. They're basically saying that, well, the Pistons, they going with the narrative that the Pistons hadn't played anybody, right? My thing is this. They beat the Rockets. These are the teams I can really think of. You know, they beat the Celtics, one of the top teams. They beat Orlando. I think they split with Orlando or something like that. I mean, but it's the thing of, or they haven't beat the top teams out West. Who do you fear out West? Other than the OKC Thunder, who do you fear? Don't really fear the Nuggets like that. Don't really fear the Spurs are really good. Don't really fear them like that, though. You know, Minnesota, we match up well with them. The Lakers, they don't have enough. You know, they may or may not beat us, but they don't really have enough. Rich Paul said it. LeBron boy said it. They don't even have enough to be contenders. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking like, bro, we don't have to be successful versus the West to prove our worth. We just have to be successful versus the teams in the East. You know, even though the Cavs a little bit down right now, I think they'll figure it out. They beat us, and then we went on an insane run after that. You know, we went on an insane run after that, but it's like, dude, they're 21-5, 22-5 or something like that. Like, what else do you want? Yeah, we haven't played the Knicks, but we already know we can compete with the Knicks. We know that. That's a fact. We know that. They know that. They gave us our props. So, you know, it's funny how, for the most part, they want to be meticulous on how to feel about the Pistons. I mean, let's talk about last year. That momentum they rolled last year, it rolled right into this year. But then again, it's all this lovable loser shit with the Lions, where they have a lot of false faith in the Lions, and they ain't proved shit. Oh, the Lions are there and they made it, and they love the Lions. You know, I don't think not the Clippers, but the Wings are getting talked about enough. You know, and you know, mostly 97 once again, they're old. That's like a geriatric radio station. All of them is old. Nothing hip about it. And in reality, ain't nothing hip about radio. But you know, it's a baseball. They're gonna get baseball because that's what they grew up on. Them baby boomers and Gen Xers and shit. That was their sport. For the most part, we like playing baseball in the millennials, but we didn't watch that shit. You know, we didn't watch it like that. But, you know, looking at it where they have all these different critiques about the Pistons and, oh, are they there? What else do you want? Last year, they showed that they was a good team, and it rolled over the momentum. Oh, if they lose Tim Hardaway Jr., or they lose Malik Beasley, when they lose Dennis Schroeder, they've answered the question. And more than anybody that's answered the question so far is Terajan Langdon. He's answered the question the best so far. He's been able to do what Troy Weaver wanted. Troy Weaver done an excellent job finding talent. He's been able to find veterans to support the talent. Whether it was Beasley, whether it was Tim Hardaway, whether it was Dennis Schroeder, Tobias Harris, guess what this year? He finds a guy like Javonte Green. Whoa, where did this guy come from? Fantastic. It's an equal opportunity type of team. Dennis Jenkins, one of the best players on the team. He playing more minutes than Ivy. Sasser has, the best will play. You found Dennis Jenkins. Something Miami Heat have been infamous for. Finding these guys that you don't really know about, but plugging them in. Okay? What else more do you want from them? Well, Indiana isn't healthy. And you talking about Halliburton coming off a completely blown Achilles. In basketball terms. And on top of that, they gave up Miles Turner. That was a huge part of what they did. Boston to get Jason Tatum back. Hey, we competed with Boston last year. I believe we beat Boston a couple times last year. I could be with Jason Tatum. Boston wasn't this, and that's a different team than what they were with or without Jason Tatum. Coming off what, Achilles? So even regardless, that's a different team. No Porzingis, no Al Horford. They're a different team with or without him. No, Orlando, we thought was going to be that team. That's what we thought. Right now, hey, they figuring it out. Cleveland, they figuring it out. I won't write them off. Right after the All-Star break, the teams with huge gaps, leads, OKC, Spurs, Denver, the Knicks, and us, at the end of the day, you're going to have pushes. You're going to get pushed from Minnesota. You're going to get pushed from Phoenix. You're going to get a push from Houston. You're going to get a push from, Cleveland. You're going to get a push from Boston. You're going to get probably a push from some trades going around. You're going to get a push from, I think, Toronto. They're going to get a push from them. So the whole thing is you never know. You never know. But it's the skepticism, this being skeptical of the Detroit Pistons with that clip that was like, wow, my thing is, what the hell? I mean, in the West Coast swing they going on, it ain't the toughest. Portland, Utah, the Clippers won 7 games. They did beat the Lakers last night. Nobody gave a fuck. And I'm shooting this video. So yeah, it's not the bit with the Lakers is the game, going out to LA, going on that West Coast trip. But I just find it funny how, 97-1, oh, we're skeptical, but y'all don't be skeptical about the SOL. The Lions will continue to be SOL. It's nothing going to change. That is their curse. They will die. That franchise will die without a Super Bowl. It's a given. It was written. It's just giving y'all false hope. But teams that's actually won it in Ninja's lifetime, Tigers, Wings, Pistons, this is why you don't see me go hard on them. They get an absolute pass because they've done something tangible. They've all spent money at some point. Right now, Gores is spinning the bread. Mike Ilitch, the original daddy, is it Mike Ilitch? Yeah, Chris is the son. He spent the bread. He spent the bread. Wings in, he spent the bread. I can't complain about the franchise. But these sorry motherfuckers right here, the Lions, they don't spend the bread. So, yeah, why we can't celebrate the Pistons being one of the best teams in the league? Why we got to be skeptical, but hey, it is what it is. The Lions are the lovable losers of the city of Detroit. So, they can, put, 2 wins together and have the highest ticket in all of football, which is some of the most egregious things I ever seen. But hey, whatever. Check out Detroit Piston Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit the link tree. You can find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram. Everywhere I'm producing content at. Appreciate y'all, man. Thumbs up the video. One time for the one time Motor City Sports Talk. Peace.